In this question we were asking, what is the limit as n goes to infinity of an? We'd like to know what happens as these go to infinity. Now this is something a little new, factorial. Factorial is going to become one of your new friends in the future. We're going to see it a lot as we move forward. But for right now, let's remember what that means. Factorial, remember, 5 factorial is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. We start at the number and go down until we get to 1, and so on. Also, just remember that 0 factorial has its own special definition. This really is just a definition because it works in a lot of formulas, and then there's some other probability and statistics reasons as well. But 0 factorial is defined to be 1. And so we also have to keep that in mind. Now, what's happening here? How are we comparing n factorial and n to the n? Essentially, I'm asking which one is stronger. They're both going to infinity. N factorial goes to infinity. 5 factorial, then 6 factorial, then 7 factorial. They're getting bigger and bigger. 5 to the 5, 6 to the 6, 7 to the 7. That's also getting bigger. The question is, which one wins? Which one gets bigger faster to overpower the other? If the numerator gets bigger faster, then this is going to go to infinity. If the denominator gets bigger faster, it'll go to 0. If they're kind of equally powerful, it could balance out to almost anything in the middle. So let's just think about that. Suppose that I had 5, right? If I had 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and I have 5 to the 5, which is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Which one looks bigger? Definitely the denominator looks bigger. If I added a 6 instead, and 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, denominator definitely looks bigger. Each of these things have 6 terms. The problem is these are all 6's, and these go all the way down to 1. So n to the n is actually stronger than n factorial. And so n to the n beats n factorial. And so there's a hierarchy of functions, which we don't need for this particular problem, but I'll talk about right now. Anyway, in general, n to the n is the strongest, and it will dominate. That's a technical math term. It will dominate n factorial. And what that means is that in the limit, n to the n wins. But n factorial will beat any exponential function. So 10 to the x, a million to the x, a billion to the x. This actually will beat, in the limit, any exponential function. But exponential functions will be polynomials, and polynomials will be logs. And this is our hierarchy of functions as far as how they compare when taking a limit. But in this case, n to the n wins, so n factorial over n to the n limit, as n goes to infinity, will be 0 because the denominator is more powerful than the numerator.